Have you ever had that sense that there's just something more that's inside of you? Like these gifts and abilities you haven't fully tapped into, but you're not quite sure what they are. Well, what if your most extraordinary strengths are the things that you do so naturally that you don't even recognize what their value is? And then here's a thought that you could carry into this holiday season. Like, what if the joy and support or connection that someone desperately needs is something that you're uniquely equipped to give? Like, if you want to discover your unique gifts and superpowers and be able to make a greater impact in your world, especially during this holiday season, then you're not going to want to miss out on this video. Now, my name is Jake Talbert. I'm the founder and author of the GIVER method, and today we're going to be exploring something that I think is really magical, and that's how you uncover your hidden superpowers so that you can transform not only your life, but the lives of those around you. And like I said, especially as we prepare to head into the holiday season. Now, before we dive into it, if you are new here, please hit subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, like the video as we go, or comment your thoughts along the way. At the end of it, you may want to share it with someone else who may need it. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of those places, or you can go to thegivermethod.com to find out more about us, get on our newsletter list. And also, you can go to givermethodbook.com and you can go and buy the Giver Method book, which is now out. It just got released about a week ago, and it's your opportunity to dive in deeper into the principles that we're going to cover today. So that's thegivermethodbook.com. If you want to get access to that, I'll have a link down inside of the description how to go directly to the book and get it. Any which way, we want you to follow us and be around because we don't want you to miss out on any of the tips or ideas or topics, conversations that we have around unleashing your gifts and superpowers and creating more meaningful impact in your sphere of influence. Now, if you are new and you're not familiar with what the Giver Method is, once again, you can go get the book and it'll dive deep into it, or you can check out other videos on the channel, just so I can give you the quick overview so that you're not lost through the whole video. The Giver Method is about helping people to identify and basically discover and develop their gifts and superpowers so that they can provide more value to those who are in their sphere of influence and make every engagement, interaction, discussion as eager and effective as possible. So when you develop your gifts and superpowers and give them without expecting anything in return, then the universe has a way of paying you back. Now, it doesn't happen every time, but I invite you to let the universe pay you back and allow you to step into who it is that you're meant to be and allow you to make that greater impact on those around you. Now, this holiday season, it provides this perfect environment for discovering and sharing those hidden superpowers, whether it's through a family traditions, moments of giving, or shared connections. This is your opportunity to shine. And so we're going to focus on uncovering those gifts you might not even know that you had. As we go through, I'm going to cover an idea, a principle, a method, something that you could do to uncover these gifts and superpowers. And then typically I talk about how you do that and give you action items that you could go and do right away that start making an impact. I recommend you grab a piece of paper, open up a note, and jot down your thoughts as we go through those so that you can put those things in action, because it is great that you're watching this video, and I absolutely love that you're watching this video, but it's not about what happens here in the video that makes the most impact for you. It's about you taking the steps after it in order to put these things in motion. So I highly recommend that you do that. Grab that piece of paper or open up a note and jot down your thoughts. And so with that, let's dive in and explore these ways that you can uncover your hidden superpowers and really put them to work this holiday season. Now, for the first one I want to cover is, I call it the pattern finder. Your hidden gifts often reside in patterns of feedback and requests that you receive from others. These patterns they're not just random, they're reflections of the qualities and abilities others notice and value in us. So the things that people repeatedly thank you for, or the roles you're often asked to take on, these are going to point to your areas of strength that you just naturally shine in. For instance, you may not think much about your ability to listen deeply, but people often come to you with their problems. It's very likely that empathy is one of your gifts. And so these strengths, these gifts, they can be so integrated into how you operate that you might just dismiss them as unremarkable. And so recognizing and naming these patterns really is the first step to appreciating and growing what your gifts are. So you begin by just paying closer attention to the compliments, the gratitude that people express to you, and keep a record of these moments, even if it's small or insignificant. And then you start to look for those recurring themes. Are you frequently praised, for being organized or creative or dependable? You can also go get feedback from people who are close to you, friends and family or trusted individuals. Ask them, like, what do you think I'm naturally good at, or what qualities do you appreciate the most in me? One of my favorites is just ask them, like, what do you think my superpower is? Or if someone came to you and they had a problem and you were like, oh my gosh, the person you need to talk to is Jake, what would that be and why? Like, their answers, they're going to really confirm patterns that you might notice or reveal gifts that maybe you haven't even considered. So keep that sort of a journal where you document every instance where people are thanking you, appreciating you. Look for those feedback opportunities. Maybe go to 3 individuals you know and ask them what those strengths are. And then once again, review what your patterns are. Now, the second one I want to cover is all about tracking your energy. So one of the best ways to identify your superpower is to notice what activities energize you the most. Like, these are the things that you can do for hours without feeling drained. Like, they bring you joy, they bring you fulfillment, and just this sense of purpose. These moments aren't just about, what you enjoy, but they're often those indicators of areas where your natural gifts just can shine. On the flip side, activities that leave you feeling so exhausted, disengaged, like, these can signal areas that just aren't aligned with your strengths. And by focusing on what energizes you, you can uncover these hidden abilities that feel effortless and yet are super impactful. So throughout your day, take note of how different tasks and interactions affect your energy levels. What did you feel most alive or engaged in? And pay attention to those activities where time just seems to fly by. It just goes by without even thinking about it, where you just naturally excel without any effort. And to deepen this practice, review, like, you have to go back and journal and document and review those notes on a regular basis. Look for the patterns in the activities or situations that constantly leave you feeling the most energized, and definitely start to push away the ones that, deplete energy from you. These sort of insights can help you to identify not only your gifts, but also the right environments where your gifts and superpowers can thrive. And so you keep this idea of an energy log where you write down these ideas, track what the energy levels are, different interactions, identify maybe tasks or things that consistently leave you feeling fulfilled or depleted, and then ask yourself how these maybe energizing activities could align to your hidden gifts and superpowers. Now, our third one is the childhood explorer. The passions and talents that you displayed as a child often hold clues to your hidden superpowers as well. Over time, superpowers and gifts can evolve, of course, but if we look back to our childhood, that tells us a lot. So before the influence of any sort of social expectation, children just naturally gravitate towards activities and reflect their core strengths and interests better than adults do. And so recognizing those early joys can uncover these abilities that you may have just set aside as you grew older. So think back about what made you happy as a child. Were you always building or organizing or creating or helping? These interests could reveal these innate talents that, when revisited, could become powerful gifts for contributing to others and making that greater impact. And so I just recommend you take the time to reflect on those activities. What were those childhood activities? What did you do when when no one was watching? What did you enjoy? Did you enjoy drawing or solving puzzles or telling stories? Whatever those activities can be, they're going to provide this blueprint for rediscovering superpowers. And then consider how you might integrate these childhood passions into your life. For instance, if you loved storytelling, you might explore, public speaking or creative writing. There's all sorts of ways of looking at that. If you enjoyed building things, you might think about how you could use those skills in your current work or in your personal life. And so, once again, this is where journaling is super important, where you write down your memories and write out what your favorite activities and hobbies were as a child, and then how can I incorporate those in my current life, and then experiment with it. Choose one of those things and try to reintroduce it into your routine for a week. Now, our fourth one, I call the crisis responder. Your hidden gifts often emerge during moments of challenge. So in crisis, people naturally step into roles that reflect their strengths, whether it's offering emotional support, organizing chaos, or finding, creative solutions. And so these kind of intuition, these intrinsic or whatever responses, they're powerful indicators of what your superpowers could be. Crisis, it strips away the pretenses. It highlights what comes just naturally to you. And by reflecting on your behavior during these difficult times, you could really uncover gifts that you may not have fully recognized as strengths that you have. And so think about a time maybe where you have a recent challenge or a really stressful situation. What role did you naturally take on? Did you step into, calm others or provide direction or find the solution? These once again, these actions often reveal what your core strengths are. And then you deepen this with reflection, asking those around you about situations for their perspective. Like, what did they appreciate the most about your contributions? And like, their feedback could also provide that clarity about your unique gifts. And so, you reflect on these ones, write about recent challenges and how you responded to them, look for the feedback, asking value from others, and then once again, go back and read through it and look for the patterns and common themes of how you approach challenges as a way to identify these gifts and superpowers. Now, our next one I call the joy generator. I talk a lot about joy, and spreading joy is one of the most impactful ways that you can share your gifts and superpowers. Whether it's through humor or kindness or creating memorable experiences, your ability to uplift others is a superpower that fosters connection and strengthens relationships. Joy isn't just about being cheerful, it's about creating moments of lightness and connection that others carry with them. So these moments often have a ripple effect, inspiring others to spread positivity as well. So pay attention to these moments when you just naturally bring joy to others. It could be as simple as sharing a laugh or offering thoughtful compliment or creating a warm atmosphere. You just look for those opportunities where you can amplify this, especially as we head into the holidays. Think about how you can make gatherings or interactions more meaningful in unique ways by spreading joy. Now, our sixth one, you got to be the problem solver. When are you the problem solver? Like your unique approach to any challenge often reveals hidden gifts. So whether it's that you solve problems through creativity or logic or empathy or innovation, any of these methods are just going to highlight the strengths that can create meaningful impact when it's shared with others. Any problem solving isn't just about fixing things, it's about seeing challenges as opportunities and as a way to create value for others. The way that you just naturally approach obstacles can really inspire others and lead to solutions that benefit everyone involved. And so identify, the types of problems that you're, drawn to, and the strategies that you just, instinctively use. Share your approach with others, inviting collaboration and feedback to refine your methods. You just have to look for those opportunities to apply your problem-solving skills in new ways, especially during the holidays, whether it's helping a friend with a project or finding creative, solutions for family gatherings. These are where you can showcase your strengths. And then one of the ones that I like to talk a lot about is thinking about the long-term effect and think about how you become a legacy builder. And so as you think about the legacy you want to leave behind, it can really bring clarity to what your hidden gifts are. Your superpowers become the most meaningful when they contribute to impact you and impact that you want to have on others, whether it's through kindness or creativity or leadership. Legacy building isn't about grand gestures, it's about the everyday ways that you just show up for others and create this positive change. Reflecting on your desire for leaving a legacy helps you to align your actions with your values. And so you can imagine how you want to be remembered by your family, your friends, or coworkers. What qualities or contributions do you hope they all recall? And then use this vision to guide how you share your gifts today. Maybe share that vision with someone you trust and gain additional insight and possibly accountability from them. They can help you to identify actions that align with the legacy that you want to build. And so write it out. Write down that legacy vision, what you want it to be and what you want to be remembered by, and then identify the ways that you can align those actions and choosing, the way to live out that legacy each week. Put it as an intention when you do any sort of a morning reflection, and then encourage others, around you to reflect on their own gifts. Now, the holiday season is a time when relationships take center stage, making the perfect backdrop for uncovering and sharing your gifts and superpowers. Gatherings with friends and family offer these opportunities to observe how you just naturally contribute to the dynamics of the group. Are you able to calm the tensions? Because I know that happens a lot in the holidays. Are you able to organize activities or bring joy through humor? These moments, they're going to highlight strengths in ways everyday life might not. And holiday traditions also tend to bring out family, familiar roles that we, play within our communities. Whether you're hosting meals or helping others in need, creating, special experiences for other people. These activities often reflect your hidden superpowers as well. So the season's, emphasis on giving encourages us to think more intentionally about how we can share our talents, whether it's, heightened emotional connections of this time, It's gonna allow us to see the impact of your gifts more clearly. Even the stress of the holidays can reveal your strengths as you naturally step into roles that you exceed in. So like family gatherings, use those as opportunities for conversation during those gatherings, to seek feedback from loved ones, being super intentional in how you participate, and reflect how that natural contribution during the holidays and activities, like what patterns start to emerge from that. You can do things, the act of giving itself and looking for creative ways to share your gifts and superpowers, is going to be super important. And then, that you just embrace the holiday stress and view those moments as opportunities to observe how you instinctively respond to them. And that might reveal those strengths. And by integrating this sort of self-reflection and observation into this holiday season, like, you not only uncover your gifts, but you also learn to share them in meaningful ways to create joy and connection. And then as people do this, as they start to discover their gifts and superpowers, there's sometimes some challenges that get in the way, things that they start to experience, especially with us wanting to amplify it with the holidays coming up. And so I want to cover what some of those are. There's things like gift blindness. And so many people just overlook their own gifts because they seem so natural. They don't feel special. This is the most common form of blindness, is where we underestimate or undervalue the unique talents simply because they just feel effortless to us. So that's where seeking the feedback from trusted friends and family, like asking the questions, what do you think I'm good at? What's something that I do that's super helpful? And hearing them describe your strengths can really help you recognize it and embrace that. So set aside the time to gather feedback from people, and then journal what surprised you about the insights that they gave you. One of the other challenges is this comparison trap that people fall into, because comparing your abilities with others can make you feel like your gifts aren't as significant as theirs. Like, this mindset often is going to lead to undervaluing your contributions or trying to adopt qualities that don't align with what your authentic self is. And so shift the focus from comparison to just contribution. Instead of asking, am I as good as someone else at this? Like, ask yourself, like, how can I just use my strengths to create value here? And by celebrating your unique contributions, you not only appreciate your gifts, but you find the ways to make it more impactful for others. And so create those lists of unique strengths, write them down, and write down each strength and how it can positively impact somebody else, and then focus on your personal journey and remind yourself that everyday gifts are valuable in their own way. And then, of course, one of the other challenges I see is the overwhelm during discovery. The process of uncovering and developing gifts and superpowers can be overwhelming, especially when you try to tackle too much at one time. This can lead to frustration or a sense of stagnation. And so what I recommend is just start small. Focus on that one area of exploration, such as paying attention to the compliments or noticing what energizes you, and build on the momentum by celebrating the small wins, gradually expanding your self-discovery efforts over time. And by addressing these sort of challenges head on, you can navigate your journey of discovering your superpowers with greater clarity, greater confidence, especially during a time of the year where opportunities to apply them are all around us. Now, uncovering your hidden gifts and superpowers, it isn't just about personal growth, it's about sharing your unique gifts to create meaningful connections and lasting impact. And this holiday season is the perfect time to start that journey, as it invites us to reflect and connect and give intentionally. And so if you are ready to explore your hidden superpowers more, then I recommend you go down into the description and you go get yourself access to the GIVER Method book. I highly recommend you get it. It's not a long read, but I promise you that the tools, the tips, all the things that are in there are going to have such an amazing impact on you and your ability to discover these gifts and superpowers and give more generously and make that greater impact. You can also go to thegivermethod.com, get on our newsletter list so we can give you exclusive insights about discovering gifts and superpowers. GiverMethodBook.com to get some access to some bonus items. You can also see how we could speak on stage, all those sorts of things at thegivermethod.com. Once again, go find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, follow us, like us, all of those sorts of things. We love it when people do that. If this video resonated with you, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone who might need to hear this message. And in the comments, tell us about a hidden gift you discovered in yourself, because your story might help someone else recognize their own superpowers. Remember, your most powerful gifts might be the ones that you're just taking for granted. And as this holiday season, pay attention to just what comes naturally. It might be exactly what somebody else needs right now. And so until next time, I invite you to keep growing and keep giving, and remember that sometimes your greatest superpower is the one that you haven't discovered yet, and I'm inviting you to go and find it. Go get access to the Giver Method book. Go to thegivermethodbook.com. Dive into it so that you can have the most impactful and amazing holiday season that you possibly can. You can start off the new year right. And so with that, I'll just say until next time, have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you in our next video.